Welcome to Game Crunch, your weekly video game podcast. My name is Mike Anastasia. With me today we got Brandon.
Hello.
We're here to talk about games and things.
Games and things.
What's on the agenda today?
I played a lot of games over the weekend.
Yeah. Oh, you played the Silent Hill 2 remake. That's new and exciting.
I did play it, and I have a lot to say about it.
Is it everything you hoped and dreamed?
Well, you remember I was very down on this game.
I know. That's why I'm asking.
We could start with that. Would you like to start with that?
Yeah, let's start with that.
I was very much down on this game. Like I didn't want to give this game a chance whatsoever. Because it's Unreal Engine 4. Everything I'd seen from all the opening footage of the game looked very generic, very much like it was just a reskin of Resident Evil 4. And I'm happy to say that I could not eat my words any harder with this game. This game is fucking phenomenal. It is so good. I don't know how Konami made a good game, but they did it. So, yeah. And they didn't fuck up Silent Hill. Now, the way I've described this to one of my friends who has said things like, I'm just tired of remakes, which I am right there with him. This game feels like what I thought Silent Hill felt like when I was playing it on PS2. Like my nostalgia looking back on it, like my feelings towards how that game was and everything. Yeah. This game feels like it's recreating that. But then when I look back at what the PS2 actually was, I was like, what the fuck? Okay, well, that's cool and everything. But I feel like the game that I'm playing here, this remake, feels like the nostalgic feeling I have from the original. It checks all the boxes. It does it really well. It seems to like very much so respect the original game, which is great. So yeah, I love this game. It's really good.
That's good. So they didn't mess up the story stuff that you thought they were going to?
No, they actually didn't. In fact, they added some things to the story that work really, really well. They more of took everything that worked and then just fleshed it out more. And they've done a really good job of doing that. They've changed around some character designs, which is whatever. But it does seem like they understand the general themes of this game. They very much do, even while changing a few things here and there. It's not being completely one-to-one. I complained a shit ton about a lot of the symbolism in the original game, and I do think at least here it does maintain it in a way that it goes with a more modern look to the game while not being like a modern feel. You know how there's so many modern games that are coming out nowadays and they're just dog shit. They flop immediately. They're not good. They even take games that were excellent, like for instance, the Until Dawn game just had a remake that came out and it did incredibly poorly. It's the same game, but it just looks worse than the original. I don't feel that way when playing Silent Hill 2 Remake. Like I said, if I were to think back how I felt Silent Hill 2 was right now in my brain from like what I would have thought it was like as a kid, that's kind of the way this game is presented. So I'm very happy about that. They've done a really good job here, and the extra stuff only adds to the game more so than like any kind of like detraction it could have had. Goodness, I couldn't even find the fucking word. It's like wow. Anyway, yeah, this game is excellent. It's really, really good. I highly recommend it if you can play it to check this game out. If you've played Silent Hill 2 before, you should check this game out. If you've never played Silent Hill 2, I wouldn't be opposed to this being someone's first experience of the game per se, but I would also say to check out the original after you play it to see the little subtle differences, because there are definitely some things here that make it more actiony, make it less horror. And I've seen some people complain about it and be like, "Oh boy, yay! Now I can dodge the enemies and I can hit them with a thing that doesn't do this, that, and the other, and there's no more tension." And I do agree with that to a sense, but I have also seen that like you can get overwhelmed very quickly by these enemies, and your best bet is to just run away in some cases, and it does bring back that feeling of dread from the original, the way that it captures it. I also think that like the verticality, like being able to see things above you and not being to a fixed camera anymore, they did a really good job of like filling out what the world would look like if you could look up, and not be on a fixed camera position.
Yeah.
And I think I think it looks and works really, really well. I do think that when it comes to like remakes of games,
Yeah.
this is like the Dead Space remake of Silent Hill 2. So like, you know how good the Dead Space remake is.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like that, but for Silent Hill 2 instead of like, a shitty remake. So, yeah, definitely give this a try if you can. I believe it's on everything, if I'm not mistaken. It might not be on Xbox. I don't actually know. But anyway, if you can play this, you should play this. It's really good.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard good things. Too, at least kind of anecdotally so far. So that's good.
Yeah,
And definitely good that it's not the horror story that you thought it was going to be.
I thought it was going to be really bad because Bloober Team feels like a company that just gets opportunities handed to them and doesn't really understand what they're making when they're handed it. But I do feel like they had people on the team here that understood, like, they understood the assignment. They understood the game. They understood the world. They understood the symbolism. They understood all of that. It even has like new puzzles that are actually like really good, like really, really good, that would have fit in perfectly with the original. So I'm very impressed with just how well they handled this. Good. So yeah, I do highly recommend Silent Hill 2 Remake if you can play it.
Yeah. So moral of the story: let's not get our cart ahead of the horse all the time.
You know what?
Things
You're right.
Better than they look. Yeah.
But I do also think, right, first impressions are very important.
Oh,
and it's not on me when they put out such dog shit trailers and like they gave me the wrong impression of their game from the get-go.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with being skeptical.
It's on their marketing team for not, actually marketing it the way it should have been initially. I will say I have looked at some of the more recent things, and I think I've talked about this over the last few weeks. I've seen some of the more recent gameplay features and this, that, and the other that have been shown off, and it was starting to look good. It was starting to look like it wouldn't be dog shit. And I believe over the last 2 weeks I have said that, and I'm glad that I was wrong. I will eat my words. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like, nah, this game's still dog shit. It's not. It's good. Yeah. It's really good.
That's good.
Like, yeah, I'm very happy with what they've done.
Yeah, good games are a win for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. And I see a lot of people like kind of shitting on it because it's not exactly the same. But like, I feel like if you made it exactly the same, right, it wouldn't be a good game if you ported over the gameplay 1-to-1.
Yeah.
And I think the liberties that they've taken with the gameplay elements does make it a better game.
Yeah, and that's some of the things you have to keep in mind with those kind of remakes. Is, a lot of things have changed in, 20 years since that game has come out, at least. Uh-huh. So you got to make some changes. You can't leave it as is completely. Just even with some of like the control changes, things are just not going to be as, smooth as they were without some changes. So.
Yes, I will say this does have performance issues on literally everything that it's on, so that is also something to keep in mind because they went above and beyond with the graphic style of this game. It is incredible. So there might be some performance issues on your PC depending on what kind of PC you have, but also the PS5 version is also having some performance issues as well. Could be patched in the future. We don't know. I just know this is my experience right now. I've seen people complain about the PS5 version. I have friends that are playing the PS5 version. I'm playing the PC version. I'm playing at 1440p with all the bells and whistles on, and I have had issues myself. But they're not big enough issues that I don't want to continue playing. So there you go.
Okay.
Next, let me talk about a game that I got. I actually have a story for this game.
Okay.
So, this game is TCG Card Simulator.
Okay.
This is a new simulator game that came to Steam, and I will start the story now. So my buddy bought this game. On Steam, there's the option to have a family list. If you have a family list, anyone that's in your family list, you can play their games if they are not playing them.
Okay.
That is just how it currently works. So like we all share our games. So like I might have a friend that has like 20 games and they don't play that much on PC, but they've got my 1,500 games that they could choose from as long as I'm not playing them. So,
Okay.
it's a way of being able to share with like your family, your friends, that sort of thing. Help them get into the space, or people that may not have that many games. You want them to be able to experience some things, and they're your really good friends or your family that live in the same house or what have you. And so I have a friend who bought TCG Card Simulator, and I wanted to play it. So when he got off, I started playing it.
Uh-huh.
And I played it for 12 hours straight, almost.
Oh, jeez.
And my friend wrote a message that was along the lines of, this asshole Dwayne, which is my middle name, but he spelled it like incorrectly on purpose, won't get off of my game. I want my game back. As like, a little joke. He's just prodding at me and everything. Yeah. And I was like, it's a really good game. I'm sorry. I'll give it back to you in a minute. And I did. And then, because I had to save and whatnot, and I gave him back his game. And then he went and he got off, and I started playing again, and he came back. We had the same little discussion, little joke and everything. And this time, I said, yeah, hold on, give me 1 second. Let me get to another save point, and then I'll get off and everything. And then I got a message on Steam, and the message said, and I shit you not, I'm going to read it word for word. It's really funny.
Okay.
Let me see where it's at. I think it's on my next page of emails. Okay, here we go. Okay. It says, let Wolf play his game, you dick. And inside the message was a copy of the game that someone bought for me, so I would stop playing it and stealing my friend's copy. So I accepted it, and since then I've gone from having 12 hours to 35 hours in the game. All right, so what is this game? I will go ahead and let you know how it works.
Okay.
So TCG Card Simulator. Card Shop Simulator is a simulator where you own your own trading card game shop, and you essentially you stock the shelves, you hire workers, you put out tables, you run like tournaments for the people that are coming to your shop and whatnot, and it's a management game where you're managing this card game place. So the first time I played it, I got a mod that allowed me to change all the cards into Pokemon cards. So that was cool. I was really having fun with that. But then the game updates so often that the mods become outdated very quickly. Like there's 3 or 4 updates for this game a day.
Oh, geez.
They're adding things like constantly. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna pump the brakes on the mods for right now, and I'm just going to play the normal base game, which they have their own fake Pokemon-esque card game that you sell all the cards for and whatnot. And essentially, you put up the packs, you put up the booster boxes, you put up like play mats or like dice that people can buy, and you check the market prices and you adjust your market prices accordingly, or you adjust them up accordingly to upsell people to sell it for more and that sort of thing. But you can also open up the boxes and open up the card packs and get individual cards like you would open like a real pack of Pokemon cards. And it tells you the value of each individual card you get. So like you could just like go through and get cards that are worth thousands of dollars, and then you could sell singles as well. And you also have to like pay your rent on time, keep your lights on, and all this other stuff. It's a really fun game. It's just really easy to like lose time in. Like if you blink, you've lost like 5 hours. It feels like that when playing this game, because it's just so relaxing and chill while not being like really stressful or anything. It's very low levels of stress. It's very like one of those games where you just kind of get locked in and you're just like, what happened? And you just like look over the clock and it's like 4 hours later. It's very fun, and I've been enjoying the fuck out of this game since it launched. And
it sounds like a really fun game, honestly.
It's really good. I'll show you a video of my shop a little bit later because Discord made it so I can't share anything over 25 megabytes anymore unless I have fucking turbo. So fuck off, Discord. But yeah, I'll show you a video of it a little bit later. It's really cool.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, so there's that. And then also, the last thing I'm going to talk about is CS2 finally had a big update. Like a really, really big update.
Yeah.
It added like 3 new collections, which are where you get like special gun skins and stuff like that. It added like keychains. It added new stickers. It added a new case. It added a whole bunch of new stuff that kind of changed the way the game was, and it also adjusted a bunch of things. So essentially, they made their own battle pass. And I bought it, and I've been playing it, and I've already finished it in a week. They also made it so you can't sell or trade new guns that you unbox or anything for 7 days now, which has really kind of done some weird things to the market, but it's still pretty cool. And I think that they're like going towards the right direction now, not because of the cases, but because of like the way they fix some of the animation problems and whatnot. They still need to work on their anti-cheat and whatnot, which is really, really bad. But I do think that they've got more stuff in the pipeline that'll be coming down probably to go alongside this update, because this was a whole lot of like cosmetic stuff, but there were also some things in the background that seem to change some of the like actual gameplay elements of it, so that's good. Yeah, I've been grinding away at that battle pass though, and I've already finished the entire thing, and I kind of got like some of the worst things I could out of it. So yay, $15 down the drain for some absolute dog shit weapons. But yeah, I played through all of that, and I was really enjoying my time with CS2 again with friends.
Oh, that's good.
So yeah,
especially considering how much you were not thrilled with that game before.
I'm still not like as happy as I was with it with CS:GO, but it does seem like they're making an effort.
Okay.
So I'm hoping this isn't just a thing where they like put that out and they're like, "Hey, look, we got new skins," and they just fuck off again, because that would be really upsetting. But yeah, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt for right now, because it feels like there's a lot here under the hood that will be like more substantial later on in like the coming months. So yeah.
Okay. What else?
I don't think I have anything else, because like I said, I've been playing a lot of that stuff, like a lot of that stuff. I will say that there was, during like the CS2 thing, there was a real and the like battle pass, there was a really cool thing where the community was like coming together, and they would go onto one map as a group and just all throw their grenades at each other in the middle of the map, and like in the game as fast as humanly possible. Like the whole community came together to do it, to farm levels as quickly as possible to finish the battle pass. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. Okay. And I'm done. I haven't got anything else to talk about.
Okay, well, let me talk about my thing. So I finished up Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, as I said I would.
Okay.
Finished up really nicely. So
okay.
Trying to think, sometimes there's things that I forgot about like last week, and I was like, I thought there was something I wanted to bring back up again this week that I was like, oh, I forgot to mention this, but I don't remember what it was. But I do have to say the game, I thought, wrapped up really nicely. Interestingly, I think it incorporates itself into like the Zelda kind of story overall very well. Kind of like what they did there. They did some interesting takes on the lore that you wouldn't have necessarily expected from a Zelda game in general. So I thought that was interesting. So you got all that going on. The final boss, honestly, very satisfying. So I know a lot of times with games, you'll get down to the final boss and be like, well, this is kind of disappointing. No, I think this one was actually like near perfect in that regard, kind of what you would expect for this game. So I think that worked really well. I think the dungeons overall are really nice in this game. I think that they're, like I said, not particularly long, but they're very thoughtful. So I think that's going for that. The map in this game, again, I'll say it, huge. Like there's so much to see in this game. And even having finished it up, I'm like, well, there's all these side quests I could do if I wanted to. This game has plenty of side quests. I would say, trying to think, I don't know what to compare it to 2D Zelda wise. This is above and beyond because obviously that's not, usually you might have maybe a character here or there that would want something, but not to this degree. Like there's a lot here in terms of stuff that's going on and character requests and things like that. So, and there's a bunch of items that I don't even know where they come from or what they are, and I'm just like, I don't have them. Not sure where they are or where they came from. So I think that just kind of is a testament just how much is still there. And once you finish the game too, it does kind of unlock like counters with like, hey, these are how many echoes exist in this world, and this is how much you have. So yeah, and it will give you like hints kind of where to find the rest of them. So I thought that was pretty cool. Overall, like I said, very high on this game, a lot higher on this game than I expected to be.
That's good.
Really pleasantly surprised with it. So, yeah, definitely good. I recommend it for anyone who's a classic 2D Zelda fan. I think this game will scratch that itch. Definitely more than say like, Tears of the Kingdom may have for some fans who are looking for more of the traditional Zelda experience. And even though you look at it and you're like, well, you're not playing as Link. Nope. Yeah, I get that. But this is so traditional Zelda, even with the changes. Like it feels great. So
Okay, nice.
I think Zelda fans will definitely enjoy it. So yeah, I'd definitely recommend it. And it is something that I would expect will come back up again on Game of the Year later. I think that this is definitely something that will be in some form on that list there. In terms of other things this week, let's see. I do have other things to talk about, but trying to decide. Well, I'll talk about the other thing I've been playing because it's also not new. So I went back to Metroid Dread. So very random, I feel like. But I've been itching to go back to Metroid Dread for a while. So this was just kind of a nice happenstance in timing. So I was like, well, I'm really in the mood. What?
Now you're gonna make me want to go back to Metroid Dread.
I know, it's so good, and I haven't played it since it came out, so I beat the game and put it away, and that was it.
Dread is one of the best Switch games. Like it's fluid, it's great, it's not too long, it's not too short. It's a perfect game for Switch.
I only have one complaint about the game, and it's not even that bad of a complaint. But I do think it's legitimate. And it was something that people complained about when the game came out. Well, actually, two complaints. Two complaints about this game.
I just reminded you of another complaint you had.
No, those Emmy things are fucking annoying, and I did forget about that. And I don't know why, because I literally was bitching about it, like almost screaming at my TV yesterday. Because I'm like, what a cheap piece of shit this is sometimes. So actually, no, I'm gonna detour on that real fast since I got all worked up about
Let's hear it.
Yeah, no, the Emmy sections are kind of obnoxious because they're cheap. Like they're super cheap sometimes.
I think there's too many. Like I think there's like too many. That's my opinion on them, honestly. I think if you kept them at like a lower thing, it would give more tension while also not being as obnoxious. I think there's just a few too many of them.
And I think that's the thing with it. They're not really tense. They're just obnoxious. Like I don't feel like I get what they're going for. Like they're trying to. Like,
you think it'd be more tense, like if I would like what I just said, if there were fewer of them, because it'd be like a thing that just happens like once or twice, and then it's like, oh shit,
I think it would have been better if they were more scripted. I actually think that's what it's missing. I think they're too random right now, in the form that they're in the game to really make them like tense.
Because there's like 6 of them, aren't there? I think.
Yes. Yep, there's 6. And if I remember, I think one of them's a dumb, like a lame one, anyways.
One of them's like really garbage because it has like instant game over if you don't do this one specific thing right. I think I remember that happening.
Yeah, so they all kind of have their like own like weird little quirks to them. But I mean, there's things where like when you enter an Emmy zone, they're kind of like randomly placed as far as I can gather. So you might not know exactly where they were. But there's been enough times where like I'll walk in, I won't hear anything, won't see anything. I'm like, all right, it's safe to go. And then you get through a door, and it's literally on the other side of the door, and you open it up, and he just runs through and like kills you. And it's like, oh fuck! Like you couldn't give me like any warning, like nothing. Like nope, no, you're just dead. And granted, you have that kind of really slight chance to kind of QTE yourself out of it, but it's so few and far between. It's not even helpful. Most of the time, you'll get past it, and then it'll catch up to you again anyways. It's not helpful. And what I was trying to say too, like I think what they were really going for is trying to get those sections like in Metroid Fusion where like the SAX is chasing you and it's like very tense. But the problem with the difference between those two things is the SAX sections were very scripted. You have to get from beginning to end, but you're only going through like a couple rooms, and kind of once you get the pattern down, and then you can get through safely and go. But they're very quick. Like if you fail, you can get back into it again pretty quickly, and kind of start that process over again. The Emmy ones, they do still kind of reset very quickly, but if it catches you, you have to go through that QTE thing. You may or may not get it, and even then, if you do get out of it, most of the time when I'm in those sections, I don't know where I'm going anyways. Like a lot of times it's me just kind of running around like, am I looking for the mother brain thing so I can get the Omega Cannon and defeat the Emmy now, or am I just passing through so I can find a new power up or a new room so I can progress and maybe come back to this later? Like the game really doesn't give you much direction in that regard either, which kind of leads to my second point actually, which is the game, for better or worse, really does not give you any clue where to go. I think contextually the game does very well with that, like 90% of the time. Like usually there's kind of enough, if you're paying attention well enough with the power-ups that you're getting, you generally can kind of piece together where you probably should be heading once you get a new power-up. However, not always the case. There's one section, and I remember it did it to me last time. I remember reading about it online before, where it's you get to one area and then it's all of a sudden you're like, I don't know where to go. I'm like, I'm not sure at all. And you're just kind of, I wandered around for maybe like 30 minutes trying to like go into all these different areas. Like, where do I go? Where do I go? Where do I go? Where do I go? Trying to figure out like what you can use this new power up for because it's not abundantly clear. And then it ends up being something kind of like not really hidden, but just not very obvious and not necessarily, not kind of in the natural path of where you would go next. So I think those are the kind of the two shortcomings that the game has in that regard. But I do think I agree with you on the other things, like the things that are really strong. Like I think the gameplay is really strong. I think it's very fluid. I think in the action sequences, it's very clear that everything is dodgeable, and if you die, it's because you fucked up, not the game.
Yep.
Which I makes a huge difference. Like it's one thing if you're struggling and it just feels like the game's really cheap. It's another thing if you're struggling and it's just because you're like, I just got to get these patterns down. Like I'm just kind of struggling in that regard. Because
Metroid Dread is up there with Mario Odyssey for best Switch games for me. Like they are both up there. They're that good.
Yeah, I think Dread's excellent. And I do really kind of enjoy like, and other things too. I really enjoy kind of the story like angle that they went with this. I think it was really clever. The ending twist is like, it's so random and so cheesy, but I do really like it. I think that's great there too. And it looks really nice too. I think they did a good job making those environments come alive. I think they did a good job making interesting enemies. Yeah, I think overall it really is, especially for a studio outside of Nintendo, it is a very carefully crafted love letter to Metroid, and I think they did a great job with that. So, yeah, very happy with it. I don't remember exactly where I am in the grand scheme of progression, like how close or far from the end I am, but I'm pretty sure I'm over halfway at this point, on my second playthrough. So, because I'm somewhere, I've gotten some power ups that you're already like, okay, these are more advanced power ups. Probably the best way to put it. I'm not like fully suit upgraded yet, but getting there. So, but yeah, and there's that. And actually, another thing too, I do really like kind of the clever power ups that they have in here too. I think some of the new power ups in this game, really, I think add a lot of creativity in terms of both like traversal and for like combat. So, and also too, I think it's interesting. Like, what is it? You don't get the some of your like more traditional power ups until pretty late in the game. in the grand scheme of like Metroid stuff. Like it's not like you start out with the morph ball right away. Like you got to go find that. And it's not even like not even close to your first power up. Same thing with the bombs. Like you don't get that until like later. So I think that's pretty cool.
I see.
Yeah. The only other thing I would say too, it's not really a good thing or a bad thing. It's just kind of more of a unfortunate thing. But the music in this game, I wish it was better. It's very forgettable. It's not bad. It's just even having just recently played it yesterday, I could not even recall one song from this game. So it's just kind of.
I see.
Yeah. But I remember that was something we had talked about previously too, which is just very forgettable soundtrack. Not bad. I mean, just does not hit like Super Metroid does. So
okay.
Yeah. But that's it. That's all I've been playing. So
cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we have a little bit of news. I think we should talk about some things. I hadn't written them down because I hadn't thought about them.
I have not either. I have a little news too. It might be the same things that you have.
All right, go ahead and you start first. Let's see if it is.
So Ubisoft's in kind of a shitty place right now.
Well, this wasn't my news, but I'm always happy to hear that Ubisoft's failing.
Yeah, so Ubisoft is not in a great place right now. There's talks about them they're trying to figure out their financial problems. I mean, they just recently delayed Assassin's Creed for a couple months for more bug fixes, which apparently was the big thing.
Bunny ear quotes, more bug fixes. It's actually just to let the controversy die down.
Well, they said, at least according to them, they said the game's.
You believe Ubisoft? Already. You believe Ubisoft?
Well, no, I'm just saying they said that the game's feature complete now. But I did see that they're using the delay to add new features, and I'm like, well, I thought you said you were delaying it to make it better. Why are we adding more things to it? Why don't we just fix the things that are already there? There's also rumors that they have 10 Assassin's Creed games coming out in 5 years, which that seems like a huge red flag. It seems like it's literally the only thing that's keeping the company afloat right now. So that is kind of terrifying. So there was some talk about, I think Tencent was looking to maybe like kind of step in and take them over, which had been something that had been threatened in the past. But it also says like Ubisoft is considering options such as selling or even taking the company private again. So it'd be interesting to see what happens, but I think they're on very shaky legs right now.
I would like them to take the company dead. Okay, tell me, what was the last good Ubisoft game you played? Think real hard.
I mean, I have a cheating answer for you.
What is it? You're going to say Rabbids, aren't you? Mario
No,
Rabbids?
I say I bought Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary Edition earlier this year. So
that's also a cheating answer.
I know, I said it was a cheating answer.
Yeah.
That's why I said I have a cheating answer for you.
Yeah.
Trying to think, when is the last like other Ubisoft game? I mean, Rabbids would be one, obviously, although I barely played it, so I mean, it's not a bad game by any means.
Yeah,
it's not enough to like keep my attention. I think that's the problem with a lot of the Ubisoft games. Like they don't really add much to them, version to version, game to game. I think even in between different game series, they all feel very samey in terms of something. I don't even know how to describe it. Like it's
I'm gonna look at games that have been made by Ubisoft in the last few years and see if there's any that like I'm like, oh yeah, that was a really good game. I'm still scrolling, by the way, just so you know.
Okay.
I will say this. I have heard absolutely nothing but good things about the new Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown.
Oh yeah, that is supposed to be good.
I have heard that, but also that game did incredibly poorly for them because they didn't even attempt to market it. So
yeah, there's something weird about when it came out as well, if I recall, like the timing. I did want to play that other because they made a sequel to that World War I game that I really enjoyed. I did want to play that. I don't know how it is.
The Valiant Hearts.
Yes, I really enjoyed Valiant Hearts like a lot.
Yeah, that's a good game. That was a good game. But again, how much of that is Ubisoft? You know?
No, I know, and I don't know anything about the sequel either. Like that just kind of came out, and I was like, surprise. So I don't know how that is.
The last game of Ubisoft's that I really enjoyed was probably Trials Rising, and like other than that, I'm just looking and I'm like, nothing's really catching my attention. The last good Assassin's Creed, I think, was Origins, which was the first one where they did the RPG styling of it, which I really liked that one. But I really like Egypt, so like, you know,
Oh yeah, that was nice
I
too
got
because they
some
had that
bias
whole like
there.
educational mode, which I thought was cool.
They have it in every single one of them, but you wouldn't know because the others are received so fucking poorly.
Well, wasn't the Egypt the first one that did that though?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I look at Ubisoft and it's just like slop, 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 slop garbage. It feels like I'm looking at Michael Bay movies, which is really funny because one of the better movies that came out this year is actually a Michael Bay film, I think.
Yeah, but I mean that is how Ubisoft is. That's literally what they do. They're very risk adverse, so they just got to stick to the same things all of the time, which is unfortunate because I do think that they have better teams there than they let them.
They have Splinter Cell. Just make a new Splinter Cell, damn it.
Yeah.
They are making an anime. They're doing everything with Splinter Cell except making a new Splinter Cell.
What else do you need it to do? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's anything else. Oh, wait, what was that game that you really liked from them that was very Kid Icarus-esque?
Oh, that was Immortals Phoenix Rising, and that was a good game. That was around the time that Breath of the Wild came out. It was like their version of Breath of the Wild. I thought it was very good, but again, that was like Greek stuff, and that was really fun.
Yeah, so they can make good and original games every once in a while.
Yeah, I'm just mean like recently, because like if I'm gonna rattle off some of the things that we got recently from Ubisoft. Here we go: Roller Champions, The Division Resurgence, Assassin's Creed Jade, which I don't even think is released yet, but it's on the list. Riders Republic, that game's actually kind of okay. Assassin's Creed Nexus VR, Just Dance 2023, Just Dance 2024, Assassin's Creed Mirage, The Crew Motorsport, Skull and Bones, Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, Anno 117, X Defiant. That game came and left like a fucking wet fart. Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is not out yet again, and Star Wars Outlaws. There was a open world Star Wars game that released this year. You wouldn't know it if you looked online because no one's talking about it.
Nope.
The problem is they're using the same formula for literally everything. They need to change their open world formula in some big major way, or they need to start trying to make linear games and see how that goes for them. I think they need to change up their approach to games now more than ever. Otherwise, they're kind of fucked.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, they are not in a place.
And maybe also don't hire people who say things like, "Our games aren't bad. You just have too high of expectations," which is literally something that was said last week. And then he continued to say, "We're not the problem. Gamers are the problem."
Yep, that's the problem.
Maybe don't hire people like that. Maybe don't do that.
Yeah, it seems like a reasonable thing.
It's your fault for thinking our games wouldn't be shit. Oh, okay. Like what? What? It's your fault for not buying our garbage. I mean, technically, but like, don't make garbage. You know?
Don't make garbage. You won't have that problem. Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully Ubisoft gets their shit together. I'm not sure. I don't have a lot of faith in their company being solvent in like 10 years.
I have zero faith in Ubisoft even existing for another 5.
Yeah, I think they're in a very precarious position. I don't think they'll get sucked up by one of the big 3 though. My guess is they'll get sucked up by another third party.
Wouldn't it be just Tencent? Like Tencent is knocking on their door right now.
Yeah, no, that makes the most sense. That seems to be where it is. That's what I would think. Because I don't think anyone like Microsoft, I don't think they could stomach another acquisition right now, even if they wanted to.
PlayStation's fucked up too much this year already. Maybe they take a break from fucking up for a little bit. Because, oh my god, it would just be the cherry on top if Sony was like, "Well, guys, we bought Ubisoft." I'd be like, "Well, now you have 5 years left to live."
Honestly, I feel like if anyone was going to get the most value out of them, it probably actually would be Sony if they were going to. because I think Ubisoft's teams are big enough that they could probably support and help round out.
I have a wild take, actually.
Yeah.
I think the people that would get the most value out of Ubisoft would be Nintendo if they just had them make more games like the Rabbids games and actually step out of their comfort zone and work alongside them and make good games.
Yeah, I mean,
we've seen
could.
that they made good games with the Mario and Rabbids games, with the Prince of Persia games. That's outside of their comfort zone. If they could have a company that made them do that, they could make good games again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, Nintendo does really well, I think, with any teams that they partner with, though, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be pretty good, too. I just don't think Nintendo would utilize them well. I think they would just, well, I don't know, they might. I don't know. They could probably do well, actually.
They wouldn't be able to make constant open world games because it's the Switch that they're being put on.
Well, by this time it would be Switch 2, so who knows. But yeah. No, it'd be interesting.
Yep.
So, I don't know. RIP Ubisoft. You might be missed.
No.
So what news did you
have any other? Halo Studios is the new studio making Halo, and not 343, which is being transferred over or some shit like that, essentially. And Halo in the future will be on Unreal Engine 5, which was announced yesterday.
I did see that. That's strange.
Very strange.
One rumor is one of the rumors is that will make it easier for it to port if they need to.
So here's the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of games that are on console right now that are Unreal Engine 5 run awful.
Yeah.
Like, just awful. Like, for instance, I was talking about the issues with the new Silent Hill game. That's Unreal Engine 5. We have problems with things like Fortnite. That's Unreal Engine 5. There's issues with other games, such as Space Marine 2, which is Unreal Engine 5. I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's Unreal Engine 5. Let me check.
Okay.
I think it is. Yeah, Unreal Engine 5. All those have issues on console, and they're all running on Unreal Engine 5. What made Microsoft go, damn, you know what we need to do? We need to make a game using the engine that most consoles right now are having trouble using. Like, are you fucking stupid? Like, that's where I stand with that. Unreal Engine is probably, in my opinion, the worst engine you could use to make a game right now, because you need stronger hardware to run it. You can't use the hardware that is currently here, so that would mean Microsoft's having to make a new console right now alongside PlayStation without saying anything about it yet, which obviously they're always making new consoles, both the companies, but like with the Series S and X doing so poorly, is that the play? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, if they release a Unreal Engine 5 game on Series X and S, that shit ain't gonna go well. Like, that ain't gonna go well, period. And it's the same with if it's released on, any game, not specifically Halo, but any Unreal Engine game that's released on the current PS5. It ain't gonna go well. It ain't gonna go well, period. I think Unreal Engine 5 is just a cop-out because they get a lot of money from Tencent for using the engine, probably. Because it's probably being like, oh, we're marketing Unreal Engine 5, be hyped, be excited. I think there's some kind of partnership going on there whenever like major companies use that engine. I don't know how it would benefit Tencent other than just, I guess, word of mouth. But there's got to be something there, because there's no reason to use that engine versus some of the other ones, especially like the one that Halo was already running on, because it was just getting off the ground, and they took so long to like work on it and get everything going the correct way. Because need I remind you, we had like the Master Chief Collection, which ran like dog shit for like the first 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah.
And then Infinite kind of ran poorly for like the first like 6 months. Not the multiplayer, but like the open world aspect of the game. And then they had to I think they delayed the single player of the game, and they just released the multiplayer ahead of time so that they could like dial in the engine and actually have it running good on console. And then they're just gonna throw it away? Like, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. I feel like the trouble was the management and the people working there, not the engine.
Yeah. That makes a big difference.
I do also feel like game companies currently are at the stupidest they have ever been. So this is not something that I'm surprised by, per se, but it's something that just kind of annoys me, because, like, they don't need Unreal Engine 5. And I think in some cases, Unreal Engine 5 just make games look very, very polished in a way that seems unnatural and makes the game feel fake and plasticky, if that makes any sense.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean by that. Yeah, Unreal Engine always has had very kind of distinct look to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I agree. That's a good way to kind of describe it.
Like, have you seen the video footage of Until Dawn and then Until Dawn running on Unreal Engine 5? Because they
No.
just released that over the week. I'm actually gonna link you. Uh,
Mhm.
I'll link it so you can view it without going on Twitter. So here you go. I sent it to you. So the top is the PS4 version. The bottom is the PS5 version.
Mhm.
And honestly, in some respect, I think the top looks way better than the bottom. The bottom looks very like someone put makeup on it and like touted it out and got those nice 4K cameras up there and everything, and it doesn't look as natural. Like the lighting even is like shit compared to the top one, in my opinion. In my opinion,
Yeah, I agree. Like the faces, I actually think look.
better on the top. Yeah, that's the PS4 version of the game.
Yeah,
Running on their engine versus the Unreal Engine 5 version.
which is strange because you could look at the bottom one, you can be like, well, obviously the textures are better, like
Yeah.
stuff like hair is better, but
Mm-hmm.
it's something like the top one looks more realistic, as
For
strange as
some
that
reason.
sounds, whereas the bottom one looks much more uncanny valley, which
Yeah.
I can't quite figure out. And from the top, like this one with like the main character, I'm like, I can recognize the actor much easier
It's
from
Remy Malek.
the
It's Remy
top
Malek,
one.
and you can
Yeah.
recognize him from the top. Yes, I don't understand why that he looks so different on the top, but like that is him. That's Remy Malek on the top, which is the PS4 version, and on the bottom, that's Remy Malek, but it doesn't look like Remy Malek, and it doesn't look like the original character. I don't know. It just looks so fake, and that is the biggest problem with Unreal Engine 5. It makes everything look fake and Hollywoodified, and it doesn't have a good feel to it. And I think seeing Halo like that is going to be absolute garbage.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, hopefully, I mean, I think that kind of look. I mean, Halo's kind of more Space Marines and stuff, obviously. So, I mean, it might look a little bit better with that, but I don't understand why you just kind of throw out a whole engine you've been working on for a while to go with something that's known to be difficult to work with, unless you're having some serious issues, or like I said, if they think it's the speculation was more that it was more about porting, and access to porting than anything, which makes sense if that's what they're thinking about doing.
But if they're porting it, they haven't had problems porting it to PC. Does that mean that they're also porting it to PS5? Because that's what I feel like this is.
That's what the rumor is, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what I feel like it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the rumor is that this is kind of a means to make porting to PlayStation 5 easier should they decide.
You think about that, right? Right? Look at, again, I just described Silent Hill 2 remake on PS5 on Unreal Engine 5. Not running so good. Drops to the 30s. Drops lower in some cases. Not good. Not good at all. And it also has this overhead problem where, like, if you look up and down very quickly, it will start skipping frames, and it will drop into like the like high 20s. It's not good. Unreal Engine 5 has a very big problem with things such as upscaling and whatnot, which is a very used thing in consoles. Very much so. So, like, why would you be like, let me use this engine when we're doing upscaling on all of our games and knowing damn well that it's going to have issues with it? Like, I don't get it. It just seems like it seems like developers literally right now are like, what's the dumbest thing I could do? And then they do it.
Yeah, because there's no one there being like, hey, that's a dumb idea, which we see happen way too often.
I just don't get it, man. I just do not get it.
Yeah.
I do have another piece of news, which I will talk about, which is very funny.
What's that?
For the first time ever on PC, the original Red Dead Redemption will be releasing on PC.
Oh, I did see that. That is
Yeah,
fun.
and it comes with Undead Nightmares.
Yes.
And this is the main reason I want to talk about this, because it's really funny. It releases the same week as the Horizon Zero Dawn remake. So Horizon still can't catch a break.
Nope. I can't. But that's why they delisted it, the original, so that you'll be forced to get the new one, obviously.
So fucking funny.
Well, yeah, and it's probably going to get outsold by Red Dead Redemption, which...
Oh, 100%. Bro, I'm thinking about buying Red Dead Redemption on PC. It's Red Dead Redemption. It's a better game than 2, in my opinion. And the Undead Nightmares DLC is one of the best DLCs that Rockstar has ever put out. And right around Halloween, bro, it's perfect. It's the perfect release.
Yeah. Well, as long as they don't fuck up the port like they like to do. So
I'm gonna say this. It's Rockstar, so depending on what part of Rockstar it is, I don't think that's a problem, because I don't think there has been a bad Rockstar Games port when it's directly from Rockstar Games. When it's someone like the people that did the definitive edition of the GTA games, that was a different company. That was different from Rockstar, and the port is god awful for all 3 of those games. But like Red Dead Redemption 2, LA Noire, GTA 5, Max
Red
Payne
Dead
3.
Redemption 2, I remember that having some issues when it came out.
So the issues were it was too powerful for the current hardware on the market, which is what people found out very soon after. It was one of those games where it's like, yeah, you probably shouldn't be doing this at the highest settings that we allow you to do, because we made this for computers that will come out like 7-8 years from now. And now computers that are existing now are just now being able to run like Red Dead Redemption 2 at its highest of highest settings on PC. And people also found out that the console settings that they were using for Red Dead Redemption 2 on PC were pretty much all medium and low settings. So it was kind of a technological like advancement that was holding back Red Dead Redemption 2 more so than it being a bad port. It was just, people saw high settings, I'm going to put it on high settings. But the hardware you needed to run high and very high settings did not exist yet. And that was the problem.
That's fair. That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, so hopefully the port for 1 is better then.
Yeah. Unless it's like God tier, and it's like, yeah, you'll have to get like a 6080 in the future to run it.
Hey, you never know.
Yeah. I mean, the recommended specs currently are 8 gigabytes of RAM and a 2070, which is a 5-year-old graphics card. So that's looking pretty good, honestly. So yeah. I'm hoping with that. I mean, it looks really nice. I want to play it. It also has like 4K support, ultra wide support, it looks like. Yep, ultra wide support, full mouse and keyboard support, upscaling tech including DLSS 3.7 and FSR 3.0, frame generation, and the ability to change the draw distance, shadow quality, and many, many more options. So like, it seems like it's all the bells and whistles.
Yeah, not too shabby.
I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, that should be nice. What's it all coming out on? Just PC?
I think we already had a release on PS4/PS5 and Xbox, so I think this is the PC port. That will probably end up having like a enhanced version released on PS5 and Series X and stuff like that in the future.
Okay.
Kind of like how they did with GTA 5.
Yeah.
And they did it with GTA 5. And then they did it with GTA 5. Oh, and don't forget, they did it with GTA 5.
Did they do it with GTA 5?
They actually did. I think they re-released it 6 times.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know, they could probably just get by just by re-releasing their stuff over and over and over again. Like, but that's
They literally have.
I know. It's been so long since the last big Grand Theft Auto. So
yeah. And I still firmly believe that there is going to be some stuff lost in translation when it comes to GTA 6 because of being afraid to offend people in modern times. I think GTA 6 is going to be heavily pulled back on that and be more of a serious crime drama than a parody and a satire for fear of like upsetting the wrong people and having the game boycotted.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, that's all. That's all I have to say about that.
Okay. Any other news?
No, I think that's all the news I got for right now.
Okay. You ready to wrap up then?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then, thank you everyone for listening to us tonight. Don't forget to find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google, Amazon, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. You can also go to game-crunch.com for all of our old episodes. They are all there. And if you want to reach out to us, you can send us an email at gamecrunchcast@gmail.com. Brandon.
Hello.
Any final thoughts?
I do not have any final thoughts.
Okay. Well, that said, I'm Spike Anastasia. I'm online on Clash of Penguin there or on your favorite gaming console. And until next week, game on.
Game on.
In a land called Game Crunch where pixels gleam, magic realms and heroes in a dream. Every level new adventure calls. In this world, no one ever falls. Monsters lurking, treasures to find, puzzle pieces fitting in your mind. Quests to conquer, legends to write. Every turn a dazzling light. Game Crunch, game on, play all night. In this realm everything feels right. Joysticks tapping, hearts on a flight. Game Crunch, game on under moonlight. From the forest to the castle gates, every corner a new twist awaits. Dragons soaring, skies of cerulean, villains' plots to be undone. Battle with power-ups in your hand, dance to beats only you command. Champions rise under your command, lost in gameplay in this land. Friends together in this digital world, every move magic unfurled. Trophy stacking, every gold star, reaching far, no dreams too far. Game Crunch, game on, play all night. In this realm everything feels right. Joysticks tapping, hearts on a flight. Game Crunch, game on under moonlight.
There it is.
Yep. I wanted to play Sparking Zero, but there's so many other things that came out. It's like, damn. So that's the next.
Oh, is that the
thing I'm
Dragon
playing.
Ball game?
Yeah.
I've heard it's good.
I've heard it's really good. Also, it's one of the fastest selling fighting games on PC. It has 90K players right now, and the only way you can play it is if you pay $100 to play it early. And that is 40,000 more players than Tekken and Street Fighter 6.
And you got all these people that fork out an extra $30 to $40 on top of that as well.
Yep.
Wild.
People love Dragon Ball. That is just a thing.
Yeah. And then I just saw something about, what is it, Monkey Goku or something? People getting all excited about that.
Is it like original Goku or something? Like with the tail and whatnot?
No, it's a monkey.
Oh.
Hold, please
Oh,
hold.
are we talking about? We're talking about Monkey Vegeta, who absolutely OKOs you in one hit. Is that what we're talking about? Where people keep restarting the game if he does a specific attack because of the fact that it will insta kill them?
Let me see where it was. I just saw it.
They're all monkeys at the beginning.
Oh, you're right. Great Ape
Vegeta. Yeah. He will instant kill you. Yep,
Yeah.
He will instant kill you. People are restarting the whole match if he starts with one move because it insta kills. and fucking Namco Bandai, the people that are the oh goodness, the publishers, they commented on it and they shared it and they said, just turn the difficulty down, lol.
Oh, that's funny. That's something that DJ said to me yesterday, because he was watching me play Metroid Dread, and I was at a boss that I just did not remember how to beat, so I kept on dying.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, why don't you just turn it to easy mode? And I'm like, pussy. I'm like,
fuck you.
yeah. I'm like, nobody plays that easy mode. He's like, I do. I'm like, you don't even play games. Why are you telling me how to play my games? So, yeah. And then I walked away from the game, went and picked up our groceries, came back and beat it on my first try in like 3 seconds.
Nice.
I'm like, that's how you
sometimes you just need that reset.
Yeah, exactly. No, it was, I don't remember it. I was an underwater boss, and I'm like, I kept on going through the cycle, but I didn't realize that I didn't realize there was buttons there to lower the water, so I kept on like just shooting it and having to go into like its like stunned phase, and I just was like, what am I missing? And then it would like kill me. And then once I realized what I was doing, I'm like, okay, got this, and just flew right through it. But yeah, no, get good. That's the moral of the story.
Yep, basically.
Mm-hmm. Because you're saying,
I gotta get good you into playing one of the Souls games one day.
I said I tried Bloodborne before, and I really didn't get into it. I'm sure there's probably something in that genre that will work for me.
You should try Liza P.
Yeah, something like that might be a little bit better.
It's on Game Pass. That's why I recommended it just now.
I forget about Game Pass, even though I paid for it up front for 2 years. I have to be. When did I get my Xbox? It would have been last year. So I probably only have like 2 months left of the Game Pass anyways.
If you paid for it up front for 2 years, then you should have a year and 2 months left, right?
No, Dead Space was last year.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So I got it right after it came out. So I don't remember. I thought I bought it in January, but it would have been early in the year.
So 2 years, it'd be 1 year since Dead Space.
Dead Space came out in January last year, though.
Okay. Yeah. But you said you got 2 years up front, right?
Yep. So if I bought it last year, it would have been 1 year from January last year.
So yeah, okay. Year. So you've got a few months left. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Jesus.
I have at least 2 months and then some change depending on which month I bought it. Because I don't remember. I don't think I bought it in January. I think maybe I bought it in March. So
I see. It
was kind of funny though because I was cleaning the office like 2 weeks ago and I finally moved the Xbox box upstairs from the Xbox Series X. And DJ's like, when did you get a new Xbox? And I was like, oh, I've had it for a while.
I've had it for a year.
Yeah. No clue. Didn't even realize. I forget that it's there. I mean, I don't even see it under there. I can't even think of the last time I booted it up. So.
Oh, you're going to have like an hour worth of updates.
I mean, hopefully it's still doing those things on its own. The Xbox, I feel like, was more reliable than some other systems in terms of doing updates on its own.
So mine doesn't. I'll just leave it at that.
No.
Even though I have it plugged up most of the time. So maybe you'll get lucky, but mine doesn't sometimes for some reason. Maybe I have it turned off. I don't know. I might be a setting that's not on by default.
Yeah. Or maybe it tends to do it better when you're running it more often. I'm not sure on that side either.
Yeah.
I know my Switch is really good about it because usually it will be like, hey, we downloaded this. Do you want to install it now? And I'll be like, no, leave me alone. I'm not doing this right now. So, yeah, that one is actually, I feel like, probably the most reliable out of all of them. All the systems I've ever had in terms of at least downloading it. So it's not like the inconvenience. Like, it's even better than my phone because my phone will be like, hey, you got this update. Do you want to download it? I'll be like, sure. And then it won't do it for days and days and days. I'm like, okay, well, then why did you ask me if you're not going to do it?
Liza P is still on Game Pass. I just checked.
Okay, yeah, maybe I should boot that up and try it before while I still have time to do it. We'll see. Let's see what it is. I don't think I have anything I don't think I'm buying anything major until Mario and Luigi Brothers ship.
You're not buying. Oh, I guess it wouldn't be major. I was gonna say, you're not buying. Why can't I think of the name of it? No. Shadows of the Dam, Hella Remastered.
Oh, I forgot about that. I am buying that. Yes.
Okay.
I have I think it's really interesting. I don't know when this has started. Very recently, I've noticed. But if you Google something that's coming out, it will give you a countdown timer for its release. That's
interesting.
Yeah. So I Googled Shadows of the Dam release, and I noticed it did this back when the new Famicom Detective Club came out, because I did the same thing. I was like, when is this releasing? And you pull it up and it'll be like, it's coming out in 8 days, 10 hours, and 72 minutes or whatever. I'm like, oh, did not know that this is the thing you didn't know. And I did that yesterday for Shadows of the Dam, and I was like, coming out in 20 days. And I'm like, okay, I thought it was earlier in the month. That's too bad. So, yeah. So,
damn.
I am looking forward to that.
I was going to say, I do have one other thing. So Uzumaki, the the Junji Ito series I've been waiting for a while. It came out. There are 2 episodes out right now. Right? The first episode was a fucking masterpiece. It was everything I wanted it to be. It was absolutely perfect. The second episode, they fired the entire team and then hired an outsourced creator that does animation for hentai. So the animation dropped from like a 10 out of 10 to like a 3.
Oh, okay. Very dramatically different.
Yeah, it literally has like a completely different cast between episode 1 and 2. Like completely different. It is the biggest bait and switch I've ever seen in history. It is insane.
It sounds like it.
Like the first episode, I was like, well, I watched it and I was like, this is incredible. This is fucking perfect. They finally did it. They finally made a Junji Ito series that actually captures the story and the manga and the images and all that stuff, and it's like perfect. I watched the second episode. It's like they're running at 2 FPS, and I'm like, what the fuck is this shit?
The speaking of anime, I'm really annoyed by that anime movie that's coming out because I'm seeing ads for it all the time now.
Which one?
It's a very common one. I don't know why I'm blanking on the name except for Academia. That's all I remember.
Oh, My Hero. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's mid as fuck. So don't worry about that.
Oh no, I can tell from the YouTube videos because I get ads for it every fucking 5 seconds.
I greatly dislike My Hero.
Also random, and I don't know much about this, but I had just seen this kind of come up in this last week.
Yeah.
But one of the things that they're adding for the new Mario Party, they're adding a pro mode in.
A pro mode?
Yes.
What the fuck?
So I'll give you the kind of the rundown because I thought about it while we were just talking, so I went to go look it up and see. So what it does is it makes it more skill based and kind of eliminates some of the random elements from Mario Party.
So it's not Mario Party.
Well, no, I'll tell you the changes seem reasonable to some degree. So turns are fixed at 12. So that's what it is. There's 3 bonus stars in pro mode, and only one of them's random, which was kind of one of my big issues with. Was it the new Mario Party? I think so. The one that had come out like last year or 2 years ago, because all the stars at the end were random, so you really couldn't like plan or try to get some of those. So I think having them set is always a better thing. So you can choose one item at the start of the game. Let's see. Some changes have been spaced, or some spaces have been changed. So like lucky spaces, instead of it being a roulette, you can either choose 10 coins or a double dice block item, like for example, something like that. Chance times removed, kind of things like that. So let's see. Item shops are reworked. So there's only a set amount of items, and once they're gone, they're gone. There's a fixed amount of star spaces on the board. So those are kind of there. Boo is on the board, but he will only steal a fixed amount of, so for example, coins, like he'll only steal 15. Like that's
okay.
Hidden blocks are turned off. Players vote on the mini games. After everyone picks the minigame of their choice, minigames will be lined up and chosen at random, kind of like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. If there's more votes for one minigame, okay, I see what they're saying. So it's like in Mario Kart, if let's say everyone votes, and then let's say 2 players vote for, let's say Luigi Circuit, and then 1 player votes for Toad Turnpike and 1 player votes for Mario, whatever. I can't remember what the Mario Circuit's. Oh, Mario Circuit. So instead of it being like, 2 votes Luigi wins, it will randomly pick between the 4, but Luigi's will be there twice. So it'll be like you have a 50% chance of Luigi because 2 people voted for it, but then only 25% of the other ones, for example. duels can still happen during the last 5 turns, but there's no special event during the last 5 turns. So the blue and the red spaces function the same as they do during the normal course of the game. So it's just kind of rebalanced to make it so it's less random based and more skill based, which I think is good. It's not quite like Smash Brothers without the items on kind of thing, but it's more of takes out some of that like randomness that Mario Party is notorious for. So it'll be interesting. I honestly think it's a good idea because some of that randomness in Mario Party, it is fun sometimes, but it's also bullshit sometimes. So depending on the group of people that you're playing with, gives you a couple more options, I think. Like if I was playing more with like a group of, say, core gamers, I would probably more likely to play with pro mode. But if I was playing with, some like casual players, I was playing with like DJ and some of the friends that we usually do game nights with, I'd probably just play regular Mario Party because the randomness makes that more fun and maybe more balanced for them because they might benefit more from the randomness. So that makes sense. I don't know. Be interesting to see. I think this is a game where I might not pick it up on release, but I'll probably pick it up eventually. So
okay.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.